Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is me, screaming into the void of the internet. I'm gonna try and get this video finished, hopefully, and just talk about what's been going on in my head. You know, I see these instances where a lot of these guys in this community, I feel like there's almost too much of, I guess, air quotes, doomer and downer content that you can consume and whatnot. And I apologize if I move around. Like, it's sprinkling. It feels like it's gonna rain. It's like just a little bit of droplets. So if it starts raining, I'll walk in because I'm just very protective over my phone. Not like in the sense that I'm staring at it. I'm not like an iPad kid, but I don't like electronics getting wet. So if I have to move, I'll move. But essentially, here's the thing, right? Like, I am fine with accountability. I'm fine with a lot of because I will say that a lot of people in the doomer community do tend to start blaming themselves, and I think that's both a good and a bad thing. It's good when you can blame yourself if there is something that you have actively caused. If you're overweight, you didn't just get overweight, just overnight. So if you can take accountability with that, that's one thing, right? It's another thing when you're looking at the state of the world, you're looking at what's going on, and you just make it seem like, okay, I'm just doomed, I'm cooked, I'm a loser, I'm awful, I'm worthless, I'm subhuman. Don't freaking say that, dude. Let's just talk for a minute, right? Number one, you didn't even get a say in your freaking existence. You didn't get a say in what parents you got. You didn't get a say in where you were born. And don't get it twisted, because I hear all these freaking old boomers sit around here, "No, you little young bastards, it's always the parents' fault." Yes, partially yes. I'm not gonna pretend like it's always, but partially yes. Where you start has a massive impact on the amount of opportunities that you have, whether you want to admit it or not. You have to listen. We have to start taking facts into account, okay? If someone is born into poverty, the chances that they remain in poverty are massive. And so a lot of these instances, sometimes parents are literally just trying to play lottery with the kids, and they're just like, okay, if I have X amount of kids, then even if they're not even if they don't become successful and they stay in poverty, they'll at least take care of me. And that's what some of these parents think. And across human history, realistically speaking, that's just what it's been. These cocksuckers would just have you, and you were just free farming. They didn't give a rat's arse about the fact that you were just going to be working on a farm forever. They didn't care about that. They didn't care about any dreams. Oh, all right, Bobby here is 13, and they're gonna just marry her cousin because we want to keep ourselves on good terms. So they married for political reasons, and keep peace between the families, because they didn't. So if something happened, then one family didn't just start freaking excommunicating other people because, hey, listen, your children's here. I've got your son, you've got my daughter, and stuff like that. So it wasn't really always about wanting the best for the kids. It's still mainly about wanting the best for themselves. And if you acknowledge that, then if suddenly you're a bad guy. And here's the truth, folks. Here's the truth. Okay, in my opinion, parents massively play the role, because what was their plan for you? They're always asking you what your plan is, what you need to do, what, this, that, and the other. But what was their plan for you, realistically speaking? What was their plan for you? Why did they have you? These are kinds of questions that you should ask. It's not about you should have gotten killed, because I'm not one of these idiots that thinks that, parenthood is something that you could just shrug off because, oh, it's a clump of cells. It's murder. Don't freaking... And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this freaking community that just think they're clump of cells because they're freaking brain rotted. You don't want to be woke about the colored hair, but you still believe that it's just a clump of cells. You got problems, period, point blank. But you go ahead and continue. Parenthood isn't something you can just shrug off and whatnot. So when you ask, and most of the time they don't say anything, because I'm gonna be honest. Listen, if I've talked to my mom's very open, and she just basically said, hey, listen, she didn't have a plan, and the only reason why she tolerated being with my father for as long as she did is because she really wanted us to have a dad, but that person was a horrible choice. And I was like, well, was he always like that or something? And she said originally, he wasn't always like that, you know, like, he had instances where he was fine, but my question to her is like, well, why did you keep having kids with him? You know, and she kind of couldn't really answer. She just, I don't know, I guess some people just naturally feel like, you know, like, just banging is natural, so when you get pregnant, you're natural. Like, she didn't really answer that, but that's kind of like the vibe that she gave off, because it's like, a lot of married couples, like, if you suggest to married couples, like, hey, listen, you know, use protection and stuff like that, they're like, oh, come on, children are natural. Yes, they're natural, but we're not in a freaking natural world anymore, okay? Like, society is, you have to understand this, society is not natural, okay? Society is not natural. Like, you basically working to give someone else the benefits of your labor is not natural. A freaking lion is not going to go out here and, like, kill something and then basically say, all right, guys, I'm not going to touch this kill until you eat. Like, they have to fight each other off to stop each other from, like, stealing too much of the food. You know, they get the kill, and then they make sure that, all right, now it's like, you know, a freaking battle royale. Like, I need to get as much food as I can. When you're basically working for someone else and giving them all the benefits of your labor, that's not natural. You know, okay, like, so don't freaking sit around here and be like, oh, well, it's natural. But when you tell married couples that, they don't freaking care. They just, like, if you're not ready for kids, just wrap up. If you don't have some kind of plan for them, you know, don't. Because, like, I hear a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you don't need that much money, you know, like, this idea that you need that much money that's not true. You don't need that much money for kids. I'm like, listen, man, let me stop you right here. And I kind of had to get on my friend about this last time. I'm like, buddy, listen, bro, I love you to death. You literally, high-key, want to kill yourself, partially, you know, right? You joke about it a lot because it's a lot easier than dealing with the nonsense. And I get it, because, listen, if you gave me a choice between being here and not being here, I probably wouldn't be here, you know? It's not even about being suicidal or whatnot. It's just straight up like, listen, this world sucks, and I wish that I could actually be in a world where maybe my species could get along and, you know, could actually use their freaking brains and their frontal lobes, but, you know, like, they want a lizard brain, and they want to be selfish, and if I had a choice, yes, I probably wouldn't be here, but, you know, I'm here, so I'll try and make most of it. But my point about it is this. You yourself want to freaking die, and you're going to say that, oh, you don't need that much money. Well, why do you want to die? Let's be real. Number one, because you don't really have the money. You don't have the money, and we're in a society that cares more about an arbitrary construct like that rather than a human being, and so you're depressed. Let's just be real. Because I'm not going to pretend like if someone had tons and tons of money that they're always happy, but they certainly don't have to worry about nearly as much crap. You know, when someone sits around here and says, oh, I'm depressed, and you're rich, I'm like, buddy, you can find a lot of stuff to do to help you to not be depressed. You got tons of help to stop yourself from being depressed, okay? I can't do nothing. You are in a position where you could travel, you could start learning about cultures, you could just go on a retreat and you good. I can't. So when someone says that and they got money, I don't know what to tell them. You know, I'm not going to pretend like it's going to solve everything. I'm not going to say that, especially when you had effed up problems during childhood, but you certainly get options. But if you're out here being like, oh, well, you don't need that much money, you know, like, and then you want to kill yourself, like, listen, man, you're screwing yourself over. You want to kill yourself, but then you're going to sit around here and say, oh, you don't need that much money to raise kids. No, we need people who are going to raise kids who are not going to have them in freaking poverty. And yes, we don't necessarily need money to do that, because unfortunately, like, your society is just so effed. You got to think about it, dude. These cocksuckers tell you that, you know, you don't have enough, you're not doing enough, and it's all on you. But they've given billions with a B, in the hundreds of billions, to these migrants, dude. At least in America. I'm just speaking from America, you know, like, and technically speaking, like, a lot of the West, dude. A lot of the West. All of these freaking woke-arse countries in the West and stuff like that, whether it's, like, Canada, America, freaking Germany and stuff like that, and Europe in general, Canada, like, dude, like, looking at how much treatment the migrants get over, like, their own citizens, like, I think the West is in due for a massive overhaul. Like, these cunts don't know about history. That's why, listen, man, say whatever you want about America. I'm at least thankful that I'm in a country where they have billions of tons of ammunition. That's all I'm going to say. Because these cunts in other countries, listen, when it's time to get real and say, listen, government, you're going to do this, they're going to be the ones to point the guns at you and say, or else. And you're not going to have crap that you could do. So, hey, man, I'm just being honest. The point that I'm trying to make here, and I don't know how long this one will go, because like I said, I'm trying to speed this up for the weather's sake, right? We're blaming ourselves for crap we can't control. Like, yes, have some accountability, but don't have too much of it, guys. Don't sit around here and start calling yourself a loser and stuff like this. I'm a loser, you know, incel, blah, blah, blah. Listen, man, you didn't ask for this crap. You didn't ask to be screwed in the arsehole with parents that, you know, were essentially ill-equipped to be a parent. You didn't ask to be born in a time period where, like, we've basically lost all Social Security. Our jobs are miserable. Living expenses just for the bare minimum, just the bare minimum stuff, you know, just like food, water, clothing, shelter, is through the freaking roof. You didn't ask for that. You didn't control that. You know, have accountability for crap that you can control. Don't freaking have accountability for crap that you don't get a say in. You don't get a say in this freaking government. You don't get a say. Like, these cocksuckers trying to say, oh, you can vote this problem away. It's your fault. You're just not political enough. No, that's horse crap, because there's plenty of instances where people are political, they vote the right way, and crap still gets passed. To this day, listen, this stays in my mind good. It stays in my mind good. And I bet you people don't even remember this crap. Do you remember net neutrality, and what was it, Article 17 or Article 13? It was one of those numbers. I can't remember the exact thing, but you know what I'm talking about. Everyone voted against that crap, period. That was a 90+ % vote. No, don't get rid of net neutrality. They still passed it. Don't freaking tell me that voting changes crap. Don't tell me that they care about your vote, because everyone gave it. They passed it anyway. And don't even get me started on this freaking election. Don't even get me started on that. I'm not going to say it because cucktube. But everyone knows that there were somehow people under 6 feet under somehow voting. So please don't tell me that, you know, they care about your vote and stuff like that. You can't vote this away because the entire freaking system is corrupt. Back in the day, even like when voting was starting to catch on and become a thing, you had freaking gangs just basically in front of like the ballots making sure you voted for like certain people. So it's always been manipulated. Don't freaking say otherwise, dude. Get real. Get real. Get freaking real. You know, like, you gotta accept the fact, guys, that, okay, have some accountability. Okay, some things in life can be your fault. You know, what do you want and what is stopping you from getting it? If you say something like, I want a house, right? And you're unemployed, but you're actively looking, like me, for example, right? Right? And you just can't find it, no matter how many jobs you apply to and stuff like that. Then what the heck do they want? You know, I think I'm going to post a video. Not a video, but like a screenshot as like my thumbnail. And I usually don't. And it's going to be Killer Croc. And he's going to be dressed in a suit. And he's basically going to these places like looking for a job. And they just say, we'll take you into consideration. That's going to be the thumbnail for this video, even though I don't really do thumbnails like that, right? But the reason I'm doing that is because, listen, in that comic, right, he's trying. He's trying the regular way. He's trying the way that people say works. And nothing's going his way. So, you know, let's say again, like, you want the house. And you're trying to get the job. You're trying to do this stuff. And no one's giving you the chance. How is it your fault then that you don't have the house when just to get the steps in order, they're not even letting you get off step A? It doesn't even feel like you have step A. It feels like you just got a decimal point that's supposed to be the letter A. That's what it feels like. And these guys, God bless them, are just taking all of this crap and saying it's my fault. Nah, F that, dude. No, it's not your fault. It was never your fault. You did not have any say in this crap. You had no say in it. And yet we're over here supposed to convince ourselves, and society wants you to convince yourself that it's all your fault. It's not. It's not by a long shot, dude. It's never been your fault. It really hasn't. It's not your fault that we're in this freaking economy. It's not your fault that the morality of humanity has taken a massive downfall. It's not your fault, dude. It's not. Don't take this crap as it's all on you. That's what people want to do, because they know that they effed up. And they know that if you hold them accountable, especially as an adult, you know, you can F them up. And they don't like that. Because they're getting older and you're young. So, you know, if you want to do something, you can do something to them. And that's kind of why I say it, like, in my last video, like, hey, listen, when these freaking cunts are old and stuff, like in the nursing home, and they're getting freaking abused, don't take that as like, oh, it's just evil. What the heck did they do to put them in that position where their own family doesn't want to take care of them? You got to think about it, man. What kind of gaslighting did they say when they were younger? What kind of abuse did they do when they were younger? That doesn't mean everyone there, deserves to be there. I'm not going to sit around here and be stupid and say that. But I'm being realistic here, dude. You have to be realistic. You can't put it all on yourself. Have accountability. I think that's a good thing. That's an objectively good thing. Good thing. But don't have too much to the point where you start putting all this crap on yourself. Oh, it's my fault. No. Because, gents, no matter how much we try, we just can't control certain things. I don't know when I'm getting a job. I don't know when I'm getting out of my parents' house. I don't know when I'm getting out of the freaking hood. And I really, really, really wish that I did, dude. I really wish that I did. It really, really sucks. But I'm not going to sit around here and self-loathe and seethe and say, oh, I'm a loser, don't be like me. Because some of these guys make these videos and it's like they're crying and they're freaking... They just say they really just want to kill themselves and they just wish that they can die because of the freaking state that their lives are in. I'm like, listen, man. You didn't do this to yourself. You did everything that people claim works and it didn't work. Is it really surprising? They claim it works, but let's go ahead and take a moment. Let's say that this cunt did go to college. Like your mom, your dad, your uncle, your teacher, all the people in your life that's supposed to guide you. Just think about them. They went to college. Where are they in life? The same people that will sit around here and get on your arse, where are they? Are they successful? Are they walking on the moon? Are they actors? What's their net value? Considering that that's what people determine as value, right? How much money are they stacking? Usually isn't something impressive, right? But they're going to sit up around here and get on your arse that you aren't enough? Oh, well, at least now, I've got something right now. You freaking lazy cunts don't have nothing. Okay, cocksucker. Prove it to me. Make a resume, a fresh resume. Put a moderate amount of experience. Try and get hired. Within, matter of fact, I'll help you out. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, right? You know how you give in your 2 weeks notice? 2 weeks to get a job. I'm telling you, make that a TV show. I want to see how many of these old cunts can make a fresh resume. 2 weeks. Let's see how fast they get a job. Let's see. Because listen, they're completely out of touch with reality. They really are. They really think that you should have a job within X amount of time period and stuff like that. And what are you doing? Why are you not looking for work? I did. Because unfortunately, looking for work equals typing keyboard, typing phone, apply application, send application, hope you get looked. And even if you get looked, it doesn't guarantee anything. Oh, well, then I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I'll go and walk in the stores and get kicked the flip out. Because guess what? They don't have any obligation to give you an application. And that's why I'm telling you, man, it really makes me suspicious when I see these freaking migrant cunts, these illegals, get in here and they freaking get jobs. They can't speak one word of English, but somehow they're getting jobs. And you mean to tell me that you aren't getting effed with? Good joke. But seriously, guys, stop it. Relax. Take a breath. No, you're not a loser. No, this is not all on you. Stop taking all this freaking accountability for this crap that you didn't get a say in. I'm not going to pretend like my life's freaking amazing. It's not, dude. I freaking hate my neighborhood. I hate living in my freaking parents' house. And it's not because they're freaking miserable by any means. My parents aren't awful. They're not the best. They're not the worst. They're just my parents, right? But number one, I live in a community of nibbas, right? And I live amongst sis-tus. So the drama, the irritation, it's there. And it's freaking overwhelming at times. And it's so bad now because of how the economy is and whatnot that, friend of the family, like I said, they moved in. And so I'm essentially sharing my room. So I don't really ever have privacy, for example, right? And that's overwhelming. But even in that, I'm not going to sit around here and say, this is my fault. I'm in this position because of me. Because I know I freaking tried. I know I tried. I would walk out every day and just walk around, not just this neighborhood, dude. I'd walk around blocks and blocks and just start asking for jobs. I just asked for physical applications. I'd walk back and forth. Sometimes I would get out papers. I'd walk back to the place, fill out the freaking form, and give it to them. I call all these places. I just call corporate and, you know, I get the numbers and I can't make it happen because it's not up to me. Like, you have to start understanding this. It's not up to you. You can't put all this crap on you. You can't make it seem like you aren't doing enough. You aren't trying enough. Stop listening to these cunts. What is going on in their lives? Again, how amazing is their life? Are they living this lavish life where they got tons saved away, they can retire, they could take, like, at minimum a month vacation? Can they? They can't. But we're going to listen to them about what they're doing in their lives and how it's so much better than yours. And, oh, back in my day. It's not your day anymore, cunt. It's not. Time has progressed. I hate to break it to you. Time's progressed. I wish it didn't. For my sake. For all these guys' sake, I wish it didn't. I wish it was still back in the day where you could just buy a house for $3,000. I wish it was back in the day where one job supported an entire family. I do. Because I could freaking enjoy life. A lot of guys could enjoy life. But it's not. Your day is freaking over, cunt. It's over. You can sit around and back in my day. It's not your day anymore. It's over. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to freaking stand on guys' throats and tell us that we're not trying hard enough. Because you don't have a freaking clue. Especially you freaking cunts that want to sit around here and say what a real man is. As you sit on your arse and talk to get your money. All of that talking. And that's how you collect your money. And you're out here telling us what a real man is. About how we need to do labor and work with our hands. And you make all this money doing this. Talking. Guys, listen, I know how effed up the world is. I know that it's important as human beings, I feel. And this is why, again, like, you know, even though I'm not a doomer, even though I'm not a black pill guy, right? I sympathize. My heart is with you. You know, I resonate with your message. But you can't get to the point where you're accountable to the point where you just blame yourself for everything. Because not everything's your fault. Accountability is good. We need accountability in the world. The world does not have nearly enough accountability. And why I like this community is because there's a lot of accountability here. There's a lot of that. But at the same time, you can get to the point where it's too much. And you're convinced that everything that you do is your fault. And it's not, dude. It's not. We didn't ask for this crap. We were forced it. It was forced down our throats. And this is why I talked to my friend. And he talks about it. And he says, man, it just feels so rough. And he doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, listen, man, we were kind of effed from the get-go. You know, when you really think about it. Did you see COVID's happening? Was it your fault that the freaking country got locked down over an experimental, air quotes, viral outbreak? How about the experimental stabbity stab where people lost their jobs if they refused? Is that your fault? They'll try and tell you, oh, yes, it is, even though they're taking away your choice. Which, in my opinion, isn't that, you know, a form of grape? You know, if they can do something without your consent and then they say, oh, well, if you don't, then this happens. That's extortion. That's what criminals do, right? If you don't accept, then you lose your job. You don't think that they don't know how hard it is to find work? And they play with you like that? And they control you like that? They know. They know. That's why they do it. It's not your fault, guys. It's not your fault for this. Don't get too deep into this where you start blaming everything on yourself. Don't do that. Please don't. I'm not going to pretend like, again, like, you know, the world's amazing and beautiful and wonderful. That's why we're so obsessed with, like, escapism and whatnot. And that's why, you know what? I'm not an anime fan, but, like, this this meme is freaking legendary. This, like, Deku working at McDonald's crap is... I feel like, you know, in a lot of aspects, maybe that ending is, maybe it hurts the most because it's the most relatable. You had all of these plans, you had all of these goals, and where are you? Working at a freaking 9 to 5. Maybe that's why people hate that crap the most. Because guys were promised, we were all promised this fairy tale bullcrap, this happy ending with your wife that still wouldn't love you, by the way. And you had your kids and your family, and you just worked and brought home the bacon, even though that's still servitude. But for you, it's different, because, you know, at least I'd air quotes be getting pussy. Yeah, that's what you think, nigga. But it's really not what the world is. You know, you're promised all this stuff, and then the reality is that for the most part, well, you're just stuck working somewhere. Not because you want to, just because you have to. Because the change is going to require a lot of strenuous work, and it's unknown if it'll pay off, and you'd rather just stick with what works. You know? I get it, guys. I get that it's tough. I get that it's exhausting. I feel like that every day. You know, I just had a conversation with my friend, and they said that, you know, you can't fool me. And they said, even when you speak, they can hear the pain in my voice. And it's because they're in a similar situation. And I say, yeah, it's kind of like, because we're going through it together, they know when I'm like, I guess, smiling through the pain. You know? Because that's basically what I do. It's not about faking it till I make it. Because listen, I don't have a filter. Like I said, you know, I say what's on my mind. I don't want to be people's friends. But I don't sit around here and like cry myself to sleep and whine because I can't control things. But I try and keep myself in positive thoughts. Even though it's rough, I try to. But I'm also realistic, you know. I don't think that you should be too positive to the point where you're just like essentially naive and just delusional. I'm not going to pretend like that, right? But you still should try and keep yourself in good spirits. But, you know, it kind of caught me off guard a little bit when they said that they can hear the pain in my voice. Because I feel like it's only really other people who are in that position, you know, that will understand that. It's kind of like that Naruto Sasuke crap, because they can relate to each other because they're in that position, you know? People think that they can relate, they can empathize, but you'll never relate to somebody unless you're actually going through it. And that's why a lot of people in this community, for better or worse, because there are some toxic mofos here, but they relate to it. They resonate with it because, as the meme says, I know him, he's me. You know? But guys, seriously, don't put this all on yourself. Stop trying to be Atlas. You're not Atlas, dude. And if you don't know who Atlas is, a little history lesson, even though it's not history, it's mythology, I suppose. You know, Greek guy, Titan, tasked with holding the world on his shoulders. You're putting all this crap on you. Do an Atlas shrug. Whoopsie. Drop that crap. It's not all on you. You didn't have a say. You didn't have a say. So, for your own freaking mental well-being, do an Atlas shrug, dude. This economy is effed. This country is effed. A lot of stuff going on is effed right now, dude. And I don't know when it's going to get better. And just because you apply to 1 million jobs, just because, say, like, your life starts taking one slight positive turn, that doesn't mean that the country's whole situation can't get worse. This isn't me, again, like, trying to ruin you. I'm just saying, listen, dude, the course of human history has been about struggle. It's been about struggle. Do you really think that even before the internet and all this stuff, that these people just were, like, completely happy? Don't look at that stupid arse poster of, air quotes, American Dream, where it was just a family driving in the car and stuff like that, and think that everything was sugary sweet. There were still hard times. There were still hard times. And usually that crap happened after, you know, the fighting in World War. Because usually war makes people really appreciate the good times. And I kind of had this conversation before I, you know, started making this. But you only really appreciate the good times once you go through the hard times. You appreciate the good times, but it's when the hard times, like, think about it right now. Like, a lot of us talk about nostalgia and Cartoon Network and all these old anime shows and stuff like that. And why do we think about it? Because we're adults now. There is so much stress on us. Like, the average amount of stress on, like, most people is approaching what they were dealing with during the Great Depression. That's the level of stress, even though we have, like, the internet and stuff. And you got comedy cunts trying to say, we're in the best time ever. I can get chicken without having to deal with the guts, but woe is me. Get the F out of here. What are you smoking, nigga? Like, listen, like, oh, sure. Yeah, that's there, but can you buy a house, cunt? Can you even afford the basics at this point? No? But we should be happy because, I got my nuggets. We've industrialized everything and injected hormones. We've got my nuggets. Shut up and eat your McNuggets. You fat bastard. He would be a fat sucker who say that crap, of course. No offense to my fat bros, but I'm just saying, like, it's telling us to not care just because we got, our nuggets, bro. Like, it's... Get out of here, dude. So stupid, but... I'm just saying, like, listen, dude, we're at a really, really strange point in life. And uncertainty is normal, whether you want to believe that or not. I know you don't want to believe that, but it's the truth. Uncertainty is normal. Uncertainty is just nature. You don't know what's going to happen. You like to think you know. You like to have plans, but you don't know. You know, I'm making all these plans. I'm like, oh, man, once I get a job, you know, I've got trade school and stuff. I could freaking be dead, dude. I don't know. At this point, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. It wouldn't, but I don't know that. You know, maybe I've got a couple more decades in the tank. Maybe I've only got a week in the tank. I don't know. You know, uncertainty is normal. And the fact of the matter is, we don't know what direction life's going to take. But we shouldn't start getting overburdened by it, you know? That's why a lot of people try and tell you to, like, you know, just live in the moment. Because you don't know what's going to happen, you know? Even the good book tells you to live in the moment, you know? Just don't go getting too crazy in the moment. Because trust, it can go crazy. Look at these cunts that tell you to live in the moment. Look at my colored hair. How did you know I was polyamorous, you know? Like... Jeez, I wonder how, you fat, ugly piece of crap. I wonder. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. Do try and stay motivated. You know, I make these for myself, but apparently there are people listening. I don't know, like, why YouTube's even sharing it, but, you know, if I'm making an impact in even, you know, two people's lives, if they're listening, man, like, just stay encouraged, man. It's rough. I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's not, but just hang in there. So, I'll see you guys next time, hopefully. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you took something out of it. God bless. I'll see you in the next one.